one more news story I did want to talk about is that California is launching a pilot program to charge people for miles driven, get this, instead of the gasoline tax.
Really?
Really.
This is wild. Tell me more.
So this is from Autoblog. Great information there. Yeah, it's because they're losing money on EVs. Now, Ohio has already done a version of this where they added $100 penalty, surcharge, whatever, to EV registrations because they're like, well, we're not getting gas tax money. And California relies primarily on funds from gas tax to cover their $8.5 billion road maintenance budget. So they're going, oh, crap, we're losing approximately $200 million a year in gas tax because of all these EVs. Right? So it comes back. It's all a money thing. It's all a money thing, right? Yes, we want to save the environment, but all of a sudden, oh, shoot, we're not getting paid to save the environment. We got to tax them a different way. So they have this pilot program where people can sign up, and this is for EVs or non-EVs. And relevant to this is that California has said that they're going to ban new EV sales by 2035. So in
you
theory,
mean new gas car sales?
Sorry, new gas car sales. So in theory, their gas tax would go to zero. I don't think it's actually going to feasibly happen.
I mean, that would be banning the sale of new gas cars. Like, there's going to be gasoline cars on the road for decades.
Yeah, I don't even think that's possible. Right? Like, I think that's just a declaration that their governor made that's like, well, I want to get reelected. And, you can say anything. And, but they're looking at losing a crap ton of money. So you can sign up for this and you would log on to the portal. And there's a couple different ways for you to track your mileage. One is to upload a picture of your odometer. Another one is to install a tracking device in your car.
No. The photo of the odometer? Fine.
Yeah.
Great.
That could be Photoshop, though. Just ask Fred Ashmore. So
you went negative 500 miles this year. Do we owe you money? What?
Right?
How does this make sense?
And you would pay a fee, and then they're going to refund your gas tax. So I presume you'd have to upload receipts and prove how much you spent in gas, or maybe they'll estimate it. But
that sounds like a lot of overhead.
Good luck, I would say, getting that check, though. Easy Pass still owes me $65 or so from an errant charge. And if I overpay on my sales tax for business and I request a refund, it takes 6 months to get a check.
Whoa.
6 months.
Holy crap.
And I'm sure, at least I remember, some of you may also remember the year when California made news because it gave IOUs out to its residents for their income tax refunds.
Seriously?
Literally, yes. Literally, they're like, sorry, we don't have enough money, but I think we will next year. So we owe you this much, but it's not a check. That same state is saying, yeah, we're going to reimburse you.
Oh. So first of all, what Ohio has done seems to be the most logical conclusion. If you register an EV, they will know this by the VIN, make, model, car, whatever. Additional registration charges to cover the gas tax, fine. This is bizarre because there's a lot of overhead to track this. But Doug, I'm curious. I don't know if you talked about it on the podcast. You and I have talked about toll roads a lot.
It is in my notes.
Okay. I don't want to skip ahead, but how do you feel in relation to that with this?
I actually like this idea. If they are really going to do away with the gas tax, right? If it's either or, then I'm like, great. Let's do away with registration fees and gas tax. Let's have a simple pay-per-use tax, because the reason I like tolls is because it feels like the free market economy. I am getting charged for what I use, and that money, in theory, is going towards what I use, as opposed to property tax, where I'm paying a number based on the value of my property, not on how much I'm costing or using, in terms of environmental impact or how many feet of road frontage I have or anything that would determine an actual burden on the state or city. And a lot of that money is going towards schools that I don't send my kids to, right? So it's this taxation without representation. I love tolls because it's like a perfect, like, okay, I'm paying for what I use.
And honestly, on the way down to Amelia, the couple times we've done it, to be able to use those toll roads to skirt right around Charlotte and watch all those poor saps in traffic, amazing.
Amazing. Indeed.
So good.
Hank would love this too, because he's on a fixed income and he only drives his Corvette 17 miles a year. So he would pay almost nothing.
I do think the monthly is kind of wild. Like, if it would be every year you go and like get your, like Ohio has e-check, not every, I guess, county has e-check, but something where you'd be like, this is the mileage of the car this year. This is what it was last year. Here's your tax.
Oh, monthly is insane.
Yeah, like, the overhead to manage this, to have somebody to look at the photos or got this tracker thing, absolutely not. Burn it.
Well, they're going to spend $500,000 to develop a website that won't work very well.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to get AI integrated to try to do machine vision, like image processing to determine what the odometer says, and it's going to be wrong.
I like the idea, though. It's one of the few things that Californian government has done, or just like even just a new tax. I'm like, I'm okay with this in theory. There's a lot of caveats.
Yeah.
But in theory, I kind of like it. And I kind of like it too, because I feel like it's time for EV people to start paying, number one, to stop getting tax credits to buy cars, number two, to start paying for charging stations, and number three, to start paying for their share of like road tax. And then we'll see if people still want them when they're not getting essentially paid by the rest of us, subsidized to drive them.
Yeah, the whole use tax thing is because ideally then this money is going to directly go towards maintaining the roads around you, the roads that you use, that you require.
After it passes through a lot of government hands.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of filters in there.
Some inefficiencies, some mechanical loss there in between.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the engine and the tire.
Yeah. It's the power out of the engine doesn't always make it to the road, but as long as most of it gets there, we're feeling good.
But in theory, I'm going to give EVs a little bit of credit here. In theory, a good program would be as efficient as an EV. Because they are more efficient than an internal combustion engine in terms of the mechanical loss. So if all government programs were as efficient as EVs in terms of the mechanical loss, like, what you put in versus what actually comes out, I'd be a little more trusting of them. But
I think it would be pretty all right.
Most government programs are like a, twin supercharged old Bentley that has bad piston rings and needs a valve adjustment and is just leaking air and compression and fuel and gasoline, fuel and oil everywhere. Yeah.